You know that feeling deep in your chest of constant effort. It's like you're pushing something heavy all day, every day. You wake up and you start pushing. You push against the morning traffic. You push against your boss's expectations. You push against the news on your phone. You push against the loved one's habits that drive you crazy. It's this quiet, exhausting, invisible war you're waging against the way things are. You just want the world to be a little different, a little fairer, a little quieter, a little more like the picture you have in your head. And so you push. You believe somewhere deep down that if you were to stop pushing, even for a moment, everything would crumble. That your resistance, your anger, your frustration is a necessary force holding back the tide of chaos. It feels like a duty. It feels like the only responsible way to be. We've been taught that caring means fighting, that love means worrying, and that to be a good person is to be in a state of constant, vigilant opposition to everything that's wrong. But what if that's not true? What if that entire struggle, that relentless pushing, is not only failing to change the world, but is also the very thing that's draining the life out of you? Think about it. When you're arguing with reality, who usually wins? When you're furious that it's raining on the day of your outdoor party, the rain doesn't stop. It just rains. Your anger doesn't make the clouds part. It just ruins the party for you on the inside, long before the first drop falls. The same is true for bigger things. You see injustice and your blood boils. You think your rage is a weapon, but look closer. That rage is a fire burning inside your own house. The injustice continues, but now you're also consumed by bitterness. It's a strange mechanism how reality works. It doesn't respond to our demands or our anger. It simply is. And our fight against what is becomes a closed loop of suffering. We are locked in a battle with a mirror. This fight feels so personal, so righteous. We see ourselves as warriors for what's right. But the architecture of how things work has a peculiar rule. What you resist, you are bound to. Your energy, your focus, your entire being becomes entangled with the very thing you despise. You want peace, but you spend your days thinking about conflict. You want kindness, but you fill your mind with endless commentary on cruelty. You are trying to build a beautiful garden, but you spend all your time staring at the weeds next door, shouting at them, cursing them. Your own garden remains untilled. Your own seeds remain unsown. This isn't a moral failure. It's a misunderstanding of the physics of awareness. Your attention is the most powerful currency you have, and you're spending it all on the thing you want to destroy, inadvertently feeding it, making it the central character in the story of your life. It's a paradox that trips up almost everyone. The passionate desire for a better world so often leads to a life of personal misery. Why? Because the starting point is wrong. We're trying to build a new future by arguing with the present. It's like a carpenter trying to build a table by yelling at the tree. You can't negotiate with what has already happened or what is happening right now. It exists. That is its nature. The traffic jam is already there. The political decision has been made. The hurtful words have been said. Your resistance to these facts doesn't undo them. It simply anchors you to the moment of pain, forcing you to relive it over and over again, while the world, indifferent to your struggle, moves on. We have this illusion that our resistance is a form of control, We believe our worry prevents disaster, that our anger corrects injustice, that our constant internal commentary is somehow steering the ship. But it's a phantom control, real control, or rather real influence. It doesn't come from pushing against. It comes from understanding the currents. Imagine a sailor caught in a storm. Would they be more effective if they stood on the deck, shaking their fist at the sky and screaming at the wind? Or would they be more effective if they accepted the reality of the storm, its power, its direction, and used their skill to navigate through it? The storm is a fact. The screaming is a choice. One path leads to exhaustion and likely disaster. The other path, the path of acceptance, is the only one that offers a chance to reach a calm shore. This is where most of us are stuck. We are the sailors screaming at the storm. We are exhausted. We are soaked. And we are getting nowhere. We've forgotten that our job isn't to command the weather, but to sail the ship. This fight, this internal war against what is unwinnable. It's not a noble defeat. It's a fundamental misunderstanding of the game. It's like trying to hold back the ocean with your bare hands. You can stand there your whole life, straining every muscle, your feet buried in the wet sand, feeling the immense pressure. You might even feel heroic. But the tide doesn't care. It will do what it does. The only outcome is your own exhaustion. The only casualty is your own peace. The world doesn't ask for your approval. It doesn't need your permission to exist as it is. It simply unfolds. And in that unfolding, there are things we find beautiful and things we find ugly. There is joy and there is pain. The attempt to have one without the other is the primary source of our burnout. We want a life of only sunshine, so we spend all our energy cursing the clouds, and in doing so, we miss the quiet beauty of the rain. We miss the way the world smells after a storm. We miss the opportunity to learn how to build a better roof, or simply to dance in the downpour. This war we're fighting is a war against the wholeness of life itself. And it's a war that, by its very design, you cannot and were never meant to win. The question is not how to fight harder. The question is how to lay down your arms. Because what happens when you do? What happens when the pushing stops? That's where the real transformation begins. It's not about giving up. It's about growing up. It's about finally realizing that your power doesn't lie in resisting the world, but in how you move within it. It's the difference between being a rock that gets worn down by the river and being the water that flows around the rock, unimpeded, on its way to the ocean. One is a story of erosion. The other is a story of freedom. The choice of which story to live in has always been yours. You just have to see it. By the way, our shared space of light and awareness is on its way to 100,000 people. Thank you to everyone who subscribes and brings this moment closer. So what actually happens when you stop pushing? When you finally let go of that immense invisible weight? It's not what you think. It's not a collapse. It's not surrender. It's not letting the world walk all over you. It is the moment you finally open your eyes. Allowing the world to be as it is the highest form of clarity. For the first time, you see the landscape exactly as it is, without the fog of your own judgment, anger, or despair. You see the storm, but you also see the size of the waves, the direction of the wind, and the break in the clouds on the horizon. Cursing the storm gave you none of this information. It only made you blind and deaf. Acceptance is not passivity, it is perception. It is the necessary first step to any intelligent action. You cannot navigate a map if you refuse to accept where you are currently standing. You spend your whole life arguing that you should be somewhere else, and so you never take the first step. To allow what is to finally find your "you are here" dot on the map of reality. Only from that point of honest seeing can you plot a new course. And here's what's interesting. The moment you stop wasting energy on that internal war, that energy becomes available to you. It's an incredible amount of power you didn't even know you had. Think of all the hours spent replaying arguments in your head, the physical tension held in your jaw and shoulders, the mental bandwidth consumed by frustration and worry. It's like a computer running a dozen unnecessary programs in the background, making it slow, hot, and inefficient. The moment you stop fighting what is, you close all those programs. Suddenly your mind becomes quiet, your body relaxes, and all that recovered energy is now yours to use. It becomes available for creativity, for connection, for finding actual solutions. You move from the grinding friction of fighting reality to the effortless flow of working within it. This allows you to act with precision instead of brute force. When you're in resistance mode, every problem looks like a wall to be smashed through. You throw your whole body against it again and again, ending up bruised and exhausted while the wall remains. But when you are in a state of clear seeing, you don't see a solid wall. You see the individual bricks. You see the crumbling mortar in one spot. You see the loose stone near the bottom. You realise you don't have to destroy the entire wall. You just need to apply a small amount of pressure in the exact right place. A quiet conversation instead of a shouting match. A simple boundary instead of a dramatic ultimatum. A change in your own routine instead of trying to force someone else to change theirs. You stop trying to change the river's course and instead learn to build a rudder. This is the secret of effective change. It is rarely loud. It is surgical. It is intelligent. And it is only possible when you've stopped wasting your power on arguing with what already is. Then something else begins to happen. The world starts to talk to you differently. Or rather, you finally start to hear it. When you spend your life shouting demands at reality, you can't hear its subtle replies. But in the quiet of acceptance, you begin to notice the patterns, the connections, the quiet opportunities that were there all along, hidden beneath the noise of your struggle. We call them coincidences, luck, or signs. But really it's the natural resonance of a mind that is finally in sync with the flow of things. You think of an old friend, and they call you that afternoon. You have a problem you can't solve, and you overhear a conversation between strangers that contains the exact answer you need. You decide to take a different route home from work, and you discover a little park or a shop that brings you unexpected joy. This isn't magic, it's mechanics. The architecture of reality is a vast network of interconnectedness. Your inner state of being, your anger, your peace, your resistance, your acceptance, tunes you into different parts of that network. Resistance tunes you into more things to resist. It shows you evidence everywhere that the world is broken and frustrating. Acceptance, on the other hand, tunes you into the parts of the network that are harmonious, that offer solutions and support. The world isn't changing, your ability to perceive what's already there is, you were always surrounded by these helpful currents, but your own turbulence made it impossible to feel them. You were so busy fighting the waves that you didn't notice the tide was trying to carry you home. This is not a one-time fix. It's a practice. It's the daily, moment-by-moment choice to see what is, rather than what you wish it was. It's noticing your shoulders tense up in traffic and choosing to breathe instead. It's feeling the familiar surge of anger when someone disappoints you and choosing to observe that feeling instead of becoming it. It's looking at your life with all its imperfections and unresolved chapters and allowing it to be what it is right now, without needing it to be different for you to be okay. This acceptance is the key that unlocks the door you've been pushing against your whole life. And you'll find that on the other side of that door isn't a perfect world, it's this world. The same one. But now you have the clarity to see it, the energy to act within it, and the peace to finally be at home in it. You stop being a victim of your circumstances and become a conscious participant in the unfolding of your own life. You see with clear eyes. If this video changed something in you, write in the comments, "I see what is." Write it as your promise. Nobody